Here we have the main chassis for the car. It's quite intricate, and we need to be really careful about the bits that we want to clear out and the bits that we want to keep. So to help you guys out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark them with a pen so we can see which ones we want to get rid of. So feel free to pause this at any point if you want to see where we're at. We're going to get rid of this one. You can see it hasn't quite broken all the way through to the back, but it has in places. So what I might just do is take my knife, and knowing that I can see from the front to here, I can run that down there. Let me pop that out now. There we go. Came out pretty cleanly. Okay. So, which we're going to work systematically around this to clear out these different areas. It's going to get quite wobbly, but that's okay. Once we start gluing bits back in, it's going to stiffen up pretty quick. So let's start over here. I want to clear that part out. So this cut here and here is a partial cut. It's gone almost all the way through, but not all the way through. The bit where it hasn't got it is just down here, so I'm going to have to trim that out. Okay, so that's all cleared out now. The next bit to do is to score the relevant bit that we want to score. So, what do we want to do? Let's start at this end. We want to be as close to here as possible on this part. And we're just going to score down that edge and on this edge, because this whole part is going to want to come up the way. Okay, now this line here wants to get scored because it's going to meet with this part here, so it actually wants to bend back on itself. And you need to be really gentle that you don't go all the way through here. And the last bit is this side here is going to fold up onto this. So we're going to score next to this part here. Okay. I can then take this, fold it over. Just make sure you guys can see that. Okay, it went from here and it's folding up to there. Okay. Within this trough here, we want to score closest to the middle. So I'm going to score right next to that. Same on the other side. And now that should fold in quite nicely in the side there. And this should do the same on this side. Right. This part here is cleared out, not because we're folding it all the way up, but just so that when we bring it up at a bit of an angle, you see as we bring it up an angle, this side here is trying to meet in the middle. It's closing up. Let's show you in there. That's where it's all going to meet up. So I think the first thing to do is to glue this fold up. Let's do that. I'll just fold that one up. Again, I'm going to use my ruler to assist to hold that nice and vertical. Again, use the ruler. Now, I would suggest we fold this one in first, and that's going to make this whole end nice and stiff, and then we bring everything together at the last minute. finger underneath, other fingers here. This is quite a warm job. You might want to get your adult to help you with this one because there's small bits and you're having to hold very close. If we look on this side, we've got a really neat and tidy finish on both sides. So you're going to want again, you want to score it on this side, closest to the inside of the body. Nice and gently. Use my rulers. And lastly, we want to score down here and down here. And do the same on this side. So that's the basics done. We just now have to put the end caps in to each. At this stage, it's easier just to separate this whole block from the rest of the excess cardboard that you're going to throw away later. So let's put our little chassis to one side whilst we just cut these out. Now they've gone pretty much all the way through. Just because they're so small, what I've done is I've left a little relief here and here, so you go through just to cut these bits out altogether. We'll save this part to later so we can cut those sections out. Now, these are very small and they're very delicate, and there's not a lot of material holding them all together, so you have to be super careful at this point. The bit we want to keep is that section. The bit we want to get rid of is this section. I'm just going to hold it in my hands and whip that away. That one's fairly painless. You can see now that I've got my main block that I wanted and these bits cleared away around the outside. Let's do that with the other. There we go, all four. So let's bring our tray back. So these parts will only go one way round. So you'll notice they've got an angle to them. A slot in there. Right, can you see how it's filled up that gap? So what we'll do is we'll drop in some glue and try and get that fixed in place. I'm also going to want some glue on this inside face here. Okay, let's try and get this in before it dries. This is a really fiddly bit, so definitely get an adult to help if you need to. I'm just going to use my thumb. So you want it to be flush on this back side here, so aligned. You want it to be aligned on the outside. So just use your thumb and forefinger here just to squeeze it to keep that in position. and we can stiffen that up. You can see that it hasn't quite glued there. So what I'll do is I'll use the fact that it's fluted, and I'll put some more glue straight down inside that slot, and it's going to hold it nicely together. I can pretty much flood that. Okay. It's that shape, and it's dropping it in. That's glued on both sides, and you can see that we've created a slight bend on the underside here to make the underside of the sill. This little part here is going to form the rear tunnel for your rubber band. It's also going to provide the support for the rod for your rubber band, which is going to be using these two crosshair sections here. So before we do anything else, what we want to do is pop this through with our dowel rod to make. And what I've actually got here is the end of a skewer, which will provide a much better solution. Now I want to clear out some areas. So I want to clear out this section here, and this U piece here. But I need to make sure I keep that little bit here. And when these edges are all folded in, this edge will end up attached to here, and this edge will end up attached to here. So I've now got a nice gully all the way through there. And I'm going to do the same on this side as well. The last bit to do is to take out this U section here. Now this is a bit tricky because we want to keep this piece where it is. So really carefully with my knife, I'm going to cut through . And now, hopefully, there we go. Not bad at all. Now, the thing to remember now is that we want to score it, but we need to score the right side. So, we want this to fold up to here. I want to score on the side closest to this central section. So really gently with my knife, I'm just going to run my knife down there. Gently run that down there. Now I can lift that up. Score down that one as well. So now when I fold these two parts in, this piece here should come up and meet, and you've got a really nice, neat and tidy finished section there. Fold that up. What I quite often do is use a ruler just to hold that because it's warm. Cool that down pretty quickly. There we go, I've already got a nice start to that. Let's do the other side. Use our little ruler to hold that in place. Okay, and just the last one to do just here. Again, I'm going to use my ruler here because it's quite small, I don't want to burn myself. There we go, that section Okay, you want to lie your rubber band through the middle of here. Insert your skewer on one side. That's a little bit tricky, but if you just angle that skewer up, poke your rubber band underneath, and then go all the way through. And then you want to take the two loops and pass one through the other, and then pull it tight. Okay, now you can see that that is hooked on there permanently. I'm going to put a little bit of glue around here. Do the same on the other side. I'm going to trim that with a pair of scissors, just score it a couple of times, and that way as well. And that should break quite nicely once this whole thing is dry. One more thing to do is take the part that we made earlier and we're going to glue that onto here. So line it up and then make a mark at the back here. I know that's how far back I want it to go. And then for left and right, I'm going to line it up. I'm going to make sure that's in the middle, and I'm going to make a mark on either side. So I now know that, and that's the mark either side. So what we'll do is we'll just put a bead of glue all the way around and drop it in position. Right, I'm just going to hold the rubber band out the way whilst